This year is 50 years of deer farming research, and those 50 years of deer farming research have always involved AgResearch or its predecessors and the New Zealand deer industry. So essentially right from its inception, the New Zealand deer industry recognised a need to have science involved in what they were doing in farming a new species. So in that 50 years of deer research, there's been an awful lot achieved, but there was a lot of opportunities to achieve as well, because we're farming a new animal.
In the early 1970s, deer was a noxious animal, and that's legally described as an animal that should be exterminated. Once the deer research program got really underway, there were a lot of staff appointments. I think we had about 18 staff who were scientists and technicians, all wonderful people. Although they were all academic people in their backgrounds, I take great pride in the fact that all our research program was aimed clearly at the developing farming industry. There were massive numbers of field days. 1,000 people turned up at quite a few of the field days, as some of our knowledge was gained on the deer biology.
I think the most important thing to me has been the people over the years. I've met and worked with some amazing people at Invermay over the years, and the best bit of the best bit was the Deer Biology Conference that Ken Drew and Pete Fennessy had put together, which was in 1983. That brought together a huge number of international deer biologists and deer scientists to Dunedin, and it really set Invermay on the map as the place to work with deer for deer farming in the world. I think another important impact from my point of view more directly was the acceptance of deer velvet as a quality product. New Zealand, instead of being at the bottom of the pecking order when it came to cash for velvet, we are actually getting some premiums and being able to show that we were at least as good, if not better, than everybody else.
I had a lot of time overseas promoting deer farming and working with people who were interested in deer and interested in what the Kiwis were doing, and with that, the expertise at Invermay kind of went with the territory, and it became an international community of a new industry, and really privileged and really exciting.
To me, the best thing the lot was the interaction with the industry, with the people in the industry. For example, the deer farmers and then ultimately the Game Industry Board. Well, it was fantastic to have that interaction with the people on the ground. And I suppose the highlight of that really was the China trip in 1981. And we frankly were blown away, I think, about the scale of the industry. We realised how big the velvet antler business was actually at that time.
The deer industry has remained a community from all disparate walks of life and activity. It's not just about farmers, and so it's a whole of industry thing.
In terms of what's next and what's essential for deer farming science, the environment and climate change are really massive. They are really, really key issues for all farmers, not just deer farmers right now. For me personally, the genetic stuff always carries on, so those are the big ticket items for me going forward.